Afternoon, all you who are participating.
You're on, sir.
What's happening? Does he need this?
I'm muted. Am I on?
Yeah, sure.
Yes,
We
I
can hear you.
Okay. Want to welcome everybody to our board meeting so as to comply with the Governor's Social Distancing Order and consistent with guidelines from the State Attorney General. This event will only be available to the public via live stream on Central Consolidated School District YouTube channel. We'll call the meeting to order. Ms. Askey,
Here.
Ms. George, Ms. George, are you there? Secretary George, are you there?
Margaret Trocheck.
Right.
She made those. Are you gonna get some to the board? Yes. Should I phone Cheryl?
Cheryl George, are you there? I thought I could hear noise back there, but
She's muted right now.
well, yeah.
It's my call. She probably stepped away.
Cheryl just dropped off.
Back on.
Secretary George?
Hello. Here.
You're awful breaking up.
I'm here. I'm on.
Okay.
Carol.
Ms. Askey, do we still have you?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, and myself, that makes a quorum. Mr. Montoya? Ms. Aspas? Well, we're missing two, but we still have a quorum. So we'll begin. We have no comments from the audience. So we'll begin with item 3A, ESS mid-year review. Ms. Margaret Trocheck?
Yes, good evening. Happy holidays, first of all. As requested, we have an ESS substitute program update. I am going to introduce, the Vice President of Operations, Joseph Fitzgerald, and then Trina Bain is the area manager for ESS. So they are going to present the mid-year report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
President Wells, Vice President Haskey, and Superintendent Carlson, it's great to be here. Thank you very much for having us. I am Trina Bain, and we would like to present where we are for this first half of the year. So can I drive these slides, or do you guys need? Perfect. So that's just, again, who we are. Floya Chick is our regional manager in the state of Utah, and she lives in the state. I am actually in southern Utah. We can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. The ESS mission is to recruit, train, develop, and train high quality development substitute staff for our schools, districts, and partners. Sorry about that. We kind of wanted to let you know where we were at the beginning of this year. Since August 1st, we've hired 73 substitutes. In October alone, we hired 31. That was actually the highest hiring. You were the highest hiring district in our region, and we were very proud of that. We currently have 72 people in our pipeline that we're working through to bring on board. We have 23 long-term substitutes in place right now, and we have 155 active subs in working within the Central Consolidated School District. That is including food service, custodial, clerical, and the bus aides. About 35% of those multiple positions. So they might be doing food service and a substitute job, or a bus aide and a substitute job. We, the reason why we have that many people working here is the recruiting that we do. That is part of our package that we present. So we go out and do job fairs and participate online and participate in different things. And so this year so far, we have participated at the flea market and the Navajo Nation Workforce Services, the Shiprock Workforce Services. We posted signs in multiple businesses. We've done the Goodwill Job Fair, and we have put out flyers throughout your area. We also love to be a part of the community and feel that in doing so, it really brings everybody together and gets people. We winners that were gifted with $30 grocery gifts this month to help, with the holiday rush. So we were really excited to be able to get that out there into your community. We do a very extensive training with our substitutes. I believe I've talked about a retired teacher. Her name is Vicki Blackburn, who does our 5-hour training courses. We've been running one of those every single month, a minimum. We also do online, make the and then we also have the on-the-job training for and food service. One of the things to offer our substitutes is a bunch of incentives and reasons to work. We do pay weekly on Fridays. We do a direct deposit to make life easier for everybody involved. We offer medical Vision, Life, and 401k. We have a number of incentives that we offer. We have a employee of the month program. We do if you at certain times a year we do different incentives. So if you work a certain amount of time, you get thrown into a raffle for money or a gift card or a big screen TV or things like that. We do those kind of incentive programs throughout the school year. We do like to give away things like TVs and iPads and laptops. We do have an incredible referral program, which is great for anybody in your community. You don't have to be working for Central Consolidated or ESS to participate in that. And it's $100 for every successful referral. And there's no limit to that. So they can do that as many times as they want. We also offer a marketplace for our substitutes to participate in just about every product you can think of, including last minute airfare tickets, oil changes, things like that. Do have a very large support group that helps whenever there is a need. We can country to help support your district. We also to our substitutes every single month, informing them of the different raffles and the different things that are happening and things they can participate in. And then we also have the great sick leave program that we just was voted into law and went into effect July 1. We have already had some people taking advantage of that program. So yay for them. We're really excited about that. So I think one of the things are increasing fill rates. We have, you can see on my slide there, we have gone up every single month, August, September, and then December right now, we're just rocking, super involved in getting it. We've also had a 34% increase in fills from this year over last year at this time. Last year, we filled 5,600 licenses from August until this date last year. And this year, we're at 7,517 absences that we have filled. So quite a bit of an increase of need. And we've been able to still maintain an incredible fill rate, and keeping your students with teachers. We had talked, Margaret had wanted to bring up anything that we maybe felt like might be a obstacle. The rates are exactly where we want them. And really the only thing that we could come up with that was really kind of any kind of major opportunity is the lead times. And so when I talk about lead times, what I mean is when a teacher puts in an absence 2 and 3 days before it's needed, it gets filled so much more quickly and consistency. So as you can see on here in the bottom of my arrow, if they put in the absence, like say the teacher didn't get it in until after that class had started because they were still sick, that fill rate is really low. It's at 70.6% for teachers. If it's from up to 12 hours before the absence, that is really a really tough time. It's you put it in 0 hours to 12 hours before the absence, we're only getting a 58.3% fill rate. But if we can get it in even 12 to 24 hours prior to when that absence needs to be filled, we jump from that 58 to 84%, which is huge. But if we can get more than 24 hours, we're at a 97% fill rate this year. So our big area of opportunity is making sure we get those absences in with enough time to get them filled. We obviously know that if a teacher wakes up and is sick, we always say in this business that our best teachers are the ones that they go home and they're like, I'm going to be better in the morning and it's going to be fun. And I'm going to be in my classroom. And then they just, they get up in the morning and they just struggle. So we just need them to be like, I don't think I'm going to do it. Let's get a sub so we can make sure that classroom is covered. Our customer service, the way we really try to make sure that we are in the class, in the schools on a regular basis. Our account manager has visited each one of your school sites at least once since September when he came on. We also have focused on some schools that needed some extra little training. We've worked with the schools and the teachers and the substitutes with additional tip sheets and little things that they might need to make their life easier. And then, of course, we spend our mornings making calls to our subs to make sure that those classrooms get filled today. I do know that you had 100% fill rate today because we were all celebrating Chuck with that for him today. So thank you very much for your time today, and I will stand for questions.
Are there any questions from the board? We didn't hear from your accomplice over there.
I
Go
have
ahead.
a question. Can you give us information about how you do your background checks and how far back do you go and what state, since we're in New Mexico, we're on the Navajo Nation, what is your requirement for background checks? Do you do Navajo Nation background check and the New Mexico state background checks too?
That's a
May
great
I
question.
answer that, President?
Yeah.
Wells?
Central does it. So yeah, go ahead, Margaret.
Yes, and Joseph, I think President Wells was referring to you as accomplice or whatever before, so feel free to say something. But on the background checks, they follow exactly the CCSD background process. So we do the III background check, and we make sure that they are up to date within 2 years as we're supposed to. We have Wednesdays set aside for ESS folks to come in. We make appointments with them and run them through exactly the fingerprinting, everything that we do for our CCSD employees.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. George, did you have a question? Apparently not. Unless you have anything else for us, I guess you're off the hook.
Well, we would like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I'm sure I'll be out there in January to say hello again. So happy holidays. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you very much. And I hope you enjoy the cookies. Please try one, okay?
Well.
All right.
And thank you for this.
Okay.
Good to be with you this evening. Happy holidays.
Good to hear from you. Number B, fundraising request by Helen West, Shiprock High School Band. Ms. West?
One sec, I'm on my phone. I'm sorry. I think I figured out. Can you guys hear me okay?
We can.
All right, and I'm turning on. I'm headed to a colleagues band concert. Can you see me now? I have no idea.
Almost. There's not much light on you. Now you're muted.
All right, now I am unmuted, hopefully. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I'm headed to another band concert here in Mancus to watch a friend of mine perform with his students. So the fundraising request I have is pretty similar to most fundraising requests that you have received before. My students have an opportunity to work with a new vendor to sell coffee to our community and chocolate. The community would place orders ahead of time. We would place one giant order and then get the coffee and hand it out to people. And we're fundraising money. We always fundraise for the band for our trips, our equipment, food for the concerts, and various items like that. So I will stand for questions, but it's a pretty straight ahead fundraiser like you guys have received before from different entities.
Sounds pretty simple and straightforward. Are there any questions? Suzette?
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Ms. Jordan?
No questions.
Okay. Thank you then, Ms. West. Next item is fundraising request by Geraldine Light, Shiprock High School. Ms. Light?
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Not very
Hello?
well.
Let's see. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So my fundraising is for my sophomore class, class of 2025. It's pretty straightforward as well, just to sell chocolate bars to the community. We are raising money for upcoming events like graduation, dentists, and maybe items that we need for our other fundraisers that we have coming up that we cannot cover.
Says graduation and prom. Okay.
Yes. So we're just trying to get ahead of the game, just to make sure we have enough when those times come, so we're not running around last minute.
Okay, you're breaking up really bad.
And let me see if I can.
Share the video.
Maybe you could turn off your video and that'll clear up your voice.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I'm the class sponsor for class of 2025. We just want to sell chocolates to the community and to our classmates at maybe school, relatives, just anyone out there. And we are raising money for upcoming events like graduation and prom. That way we are prepared for when those times come.
Okay. Ms. Askey, do you have any questions for?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Ms. George?
No question. Thank you.
And I have none. It looks pretty straightforward to me.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too, and Merry Christmas to you.
You too.
Item D, request to Central Consolidated School to participate in doctrinal study. Derek Begay. Mr. Begay.
Good evening, board members. Good evening, superintendent. Thank you for allowing me some time to speak and give some information. I just wanted to kind of briefly talk about my study, and if there's any questions, I can take those at this time. I put in the chat, my title of my dissertation is called Administrators' Perceptions of Challenges to Support the Academic Achievement of Navajo High School Students. So my study is going to be written and looking for participants, specifically school districts with large numbers of Navajo students, so that I can interview the administrators of certain schools, not all of them, but certain schools. With that, I obviously need permission. And second of all, three kind of key points to my study is, one, it's all voluntary. Two, it will all be confidential. And three, in the dissertation and in the completed paper that I do within my dissertation, all that information will have no identifiable information for the participants nor the school district. So those are some kind of frequently asked questions that I get from some of the possible participants. So I just kind of wanted to relay that out. And if approved, again, this letter you see here is something just I would need back. And that's kind of coming from the school district, just saying that you understand what the study is, how many individuals I'm looking to interview. And from there, again, I would reach out to them, still voluntary. If they deny or do not want to be a part of that, I'll honor that. And again, this is just the initial process. Once I get this approval, the next step for me, just so that you're aware, is sending it on to my university for their approval. And once I get that, I can show you guys that information, just that, the study has been accepted and allowed to move forward. So again, that's just the request right now. And if there's any questions or if I need to clarify something more in depth, please let me know and I'll do my best to answer your questions.
Are you going to target a certain age group of, like, for high school students or for middle school, or are you overall?
Yes, good question, sir. So I am looking at working with the high schools. So again, I think there's 3 in the school district. So I'll be, I don't know if I'll be using all of the high schools or just a certain amount, but I'll be looking at working with the administrators of those school sites.
Okay.
Board President, I have a question.
Ms. Haskey, go ahead.
In your research or in your sampling, have you done the random sampling? You said that, so our school district will be a part of your sample, and out of your, I guess, prospective possible school districts, how many school districts have you identified or going to be sampling from? Thank you.
Thanks for that question. So right now I am looking at getting 4 school districts, and again, I can't divulge which ones, but I can let you know that right now I'm waiting approval for 2 school districts that would be considered tribally controlled high schools. So they are non-public schools, but still waiting for approval from them. And then I did have received 1 approval from another public school in New Mexico. Again, I can't tell you which one, but right now that is where it's at. And once I gain that approval from my university, I'll be able to share a little bit more information. But I hope that answers your question.
It does, but are you going to be also identifying school districts in Arizona? Or are your school districts going to be mostly on the Navajo Nation?
Another good question. So again, for my study, it's specifically on New Mexico schools, and the kind of factor for that, identifying the schools as far as participation, I was looking at which ones had a certain percentage of Navajo students enrolled at their high schools or the school district overall. So again, I believe with some of the school districts that comprise of, I'll just use a general example of Gallup, Grants, Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, and Farmington and Central Consolidated, most high schools, not all, but most had a percentage of 30% American Indian or higher. So that's kind of been my indicator right now.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Ms. George, did you have something you'd like to ask?
No, I have no questions. Thank you.
Anything else, Ms. Haskey?
No, I guess when your dissertation or the topic where you get the approval, then I'm sure that you'll be coming back to us with that information, correct?
Correct. So the initial process would be, again, if the board chooses to accept this and allow this, I will get that documentation, the one you see on the screen currently. And then what I'll do is I'll submit that in my packet to my university. And once I get approval from them, I will reach out to the administrators from the potential 3 or 4 high schools in the district to identify 4 participants. And from there, I'll start that process. And then usually, and again, if the board would like, I can do another presentation at the end of my dissertation or when I get that approval and present some of the findings. Again, they'll just kind of be general because there'll be no identifiable information of the school district particularly or specifically, but it'll be a finding as a whole. Again, that's something that if you would like for me to do, that probably might be in August or sooner. I'm looking at another 4 or 5 months to hopefully finish that. But that's just one of the next steps if the board chooses to allow that.
Okay, thank you.
I have nothing further.
Okay, thank you very much for the time.
Thank you. Item E. Request for approval of gift donation for Save the Children by Ms. Harvey. Ms. Elfrida Harvey.
Good evening, President Wells, members of the board, and Superintendent Carlson. I'm Elfrida Harvey with the ICO department under the Safety Net program. I'm here to report the amount of the donations that was given from the Save the Children organization. I was here previously in a previous board meeting asking for permission to distribute the toys and hand sanitizer. In doing so, Save the Children had actually sent more than they had initially wanted or were going to. So there was an increase in the value amount of the items that were sent. And that's what I'm here to report, is just that the toys amount ended up to be $38,100.28. The hand sanitizer amount was $12,418.56. So that was just really what I'm here to do, is to report that there was an increase in the amount, the value amount of the donations that were sent, which is good for us because we get more toys and more hand sanitizers to give out to our students in our community. Also, I just wanted to ask for permission to continue to distribute the toys and hand sanitizer. And that will be my report. If you have any questions, I stand for anything you have for me.
Mr. George, do you have anything you'd like to ask Ms. Harvey?
No question. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Haskey?
No questions, but can somebody open the door for me? Thank you.
I'll bet somebody can.
Yeah.
Ms. Harvey, I guess that does it.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. You all enjoy your evening. I do have one question. Do I need to wait for the action item below in order to get the permission to continue to distribute the toys and hand sanitizer?
I believe yes.
Okay, thank you.
Seniors on the way. And close the meeting. Item F. Impact Aid Indian policies and procedures by Belinda Begay.
I'm here. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Good evening, everybody. I am Berlinda Begay, and I'm the District Bilingual Multicultural Education Coordinator. I just want to say Yate and good evening to Board President Wells, Vice President Haskins, Secretary George, and members of the board and superintendents, Mr. Carlson and Mr. Deswood. Tonight, I'm presenting the Impact Aid policies and procedures for this school year. Every year, we do this presentation as it is part of the requirement for the Impact Aid application. And the purpose for the Indian policies and procedures is really to ensure that school districts with children residing on Indian lands must establish this Indian policies and procedures that we call IPP to ensure the district meets certain federal rules and regulation requirements. And so the IPP must include minimum provisions to ensure equal participation of Indian children in the LEA's programs and activities, and then strategies to improve communication and cooperation between the LEA and the Indian community, and then involvement by Indian parents and tribal officials in planning and developing educational programs and activities. Also, to ensure that this Impact Aid information and student participation data and the planning and evaluation information is communicated to parents and tribal officials. Okay, can you give me like 1 minute? Okay. And to modify education programs and the IPP if necessary to ensure equal participation by Indian children. So a lot of this we do through our public hearings and then tribal consultations with the local chapters and then with the Navajo Nation. And that's the end of my presentation, and I stand for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Haskett, do you have questions for her?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Ms. George?
No, I have no questions. Thank you.
Ms. Begay, I have none as well, so I guess you're ready to go.
Thank you for having me present, and I wish everybody joyous holidays.
Merry Christmas to you too. Next, we have a 24-hour deposit procedure by Donovan Yazzie. Salute.
Thank you, President Wells, members of the board, Superintendent Carlson. Yes, we have the 24 hours policies and procedure manual presentation. So I have presented here the if Sharon would go ahead and kind of click the link where it says the CCSD Business Policies and Procedures Manual, the top one. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is kind of give everyone a general overview of what is within our CCSD Business Policies and Procedure Manual in the in this presentation. So I'm going to kind of briefly review what's written in our general policy here. So you can go, if you can go ahead and scroll down, Ms. Sharon. And so,
can you increase that at all?
So basically, in my slides, we're going to go ahead and go through just the general overview of what's written in these policies here. So if you can go ahead and push the back, just you can scroll down. So the CCSD has these policies written within its business manuals and procedures, and it's based off of what we have. It's aligned with the New Mexico Department of Education Business Policies and the Business Policies and Procedures Manual. So if you can go just scroll all the way down, outlines the kind of the process and the steps that is taken at each of the sites, what the financial secretaries does when they take money, when they take revenue in. If you keep going down, and all the way up to posting deposits into the financial management system, which is the district uses iVisions. And you go to keep going down. So we do have the policies, procedures written here in this document here. If you don't mind going back to the PowerPoint slide, after you go ahead and have them review each of the different pages that are on here.
Question. Is this a new policy that you developed, or are you amending it, or did you make some changes? And if you did make changes, is that identified in the document, the policy? You have. Thank you.
Thank you. Asking members of the board, Superintendent Carlson. So the policy and procedures manual, I believe, was last updated in 2018 or 19. And so right now we are currently using it to practice what's written in the policies here. So we have not amended or changed any of the documents within it yet. We've helped with training the staff and sent out information relating to it to them.
So you're just presenting then what the document states now?
Correct.
Okay.
And I have another additional question. In regards to the presenting the document, are these any findings or anything on our audit that the recommendation from our auditor, are those things going to be implemented in here, or are there no recommendations from our auditor that we have to update? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes, that makes sense.
Okay.
So I believe last year when we had the auditors come, there was a finding relating to the 24-hour deposit. And so what we did was we went, and those will be explained on the next slides, to provide it training in the next coming slides, and what we have done and how we've identified which sites need the support and help. So that will be presented at the end of the presentation. So I just kind of went ahead and reviewed on slide number 2, if you don't mind going back to that one, Ms. Sharon. On slide number 2, this is kind of just a general overview of the revenue and procedures that was seen in that policy there. And then I went ahead and post the link to the New Mexico Department of Education's manual and procedures for, which also talks about the revenue procedures as well as the policies associated with the 24-hour rule. Okay, slide number 3. And so kind of a general overview of the policies. So at the site level, the financial secretaries receive monies at each of the site location. They review and deposit the paperwork. And from there, the district has forms that are also part of the policies that we just presented there's a record of transfer form, a cash reconciliation report form, and a proof of cash form. And these are used at each of the sites, and they're used for the reconciliation purpose when the money is received. And so at the site level, what the part of the process is discrepancies, and if there's any discrepancy, those are discussed at the local site level between the financial secretaries and the individuals involved in the process of taking in the cash. So deposits are then made and put in a sealed bag, and then they're taken to the bank from the financial secretaries. By the secretaries or the couriers come and pick them up. From there, they receive the bank deposit slips, and then after the bank deposit slips received, the deposits are inputted in the system, and adjustments are made if needed. And then finally, the deposits are reviewed and posted in the financial management system, and they're received by the district accounts receivable clerk. And over at the district office, once we receive the information from each of the sites, the district financial clerk checks for compliance to make sure that each of the deposits fall within the 24-hour rule or guideline. If there is a deposit that's doesn't follow within the 24-hour rule or compliance, then she sends the accounts receivable clerk sends out a notification email requesting for a type of corrective action to determine the reason for the underlying cause. So if there's a need for training or corrective action at that site, the business office helps with bringing recommendations to them as well. And so if the deposit is compliance, then we just go ahead and make sure that all the documents that were supplied and given to us are reconciled within our financial management system. And if needed, we will also reach out for a reminder for the sites to let us know what corrective actions are going to be taken at the site level for not meeting the 24-hour deposit rule. And then once that happens, again, the last step is everything is posted and filed.
I have a question. In regards to that 24-hour rule, we've already taken steps to provide or to have deposits made from like weekend events, correct? Like if you have a basketball game on a Saturday, you have processes that are in place so that we do meet that 24-hour rule, right?
Yes, board.
I mean, is that what you're saying? That so if this process is in place, then I mean, unless
Weekends are not counted. That's my understanding.
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday are not counted in that 24-hour process. I believe that's what I do.
So it goes by baking days.
Baking days. So no holidays, but we do have secure areas that we can have the funds on weekends and holidays, right?
Yes. Each of the thank you. Each of the sites have a safe deposit box or a safe they can put the money in. And I believe Newcomb and Nashidi have a safe deposit box they can put the money in as well too.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
My understanding, Mr. Yazzie, is that Saturdays and Sundays are not counted in the 24 hours. Is that correct?
We are requesting for clarification on that from our auditors. We're in the process of requesting for clarification on that. So to my understanding, when the monies are taken in on the weekends, so that it's 24 hours from, I believe, that following next business banking day. So if it's taken in on Saturday or Sunday, then I believe there's a 24-hour window come Monday with the deposits having to be in before the end of that business day. So we are requesting for clarification on that particular part.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
And some of the support we've provided to the school site staff, financial secretaries, to bring this 24-hour rule to compliance. We've offered trainings on the dates there to each of the staff members. We've also sent out a 24 deposit memorandum also that includes all the policies and procedures that Sharon presented at the beginning. That was included in the email sent out to the each of the school sites and the administration staff, as well as the corrective action form that is here on the presentation. So if there's needing training to happen, you know, at each of the sites, the accounts receivable clerk does have a log of training that she does for each of the sites when they request help or assistance. So we do offer that here at the business office to the school sites whenever they request for that as well too. Kind of a general reporting of where we are at now from this school year. We've had several sites. They're listed there in each, like for example, site Shiprock High School has 3 instances where they've exceeded the 24-hour deposit. Eva B. Stokely, Kirtland Central High School, Kirtland Middle School has 4 incidents, and Sabus High Middle School has 1. So Eva B. Stokely, Kirtland Central High School, and Sabus High Middle School have 1 incident. And some of the reasons they were given to the business office when for not making deposits, at some sites they didn't give us a reason. When you get a reason from the school site or the site administrator, other reasons include money was just sitting in the bank vault and someone forgot it was there. The site didn't designate a person to deposit the funds when the financial secretary was on leave, or there was wrong dates associated with the documents that were turned in or recorded on documents. Also, what was found too was the staff. Some of the staff left early from the sites, and there was not any other staff members to help with the individual to make the deposits. So those were some of the reasons that were given when we requested information on how we could kind of streamline the process or what's going on in each of the sites.
Got a question.
Question.
So, how many people do you have identified at each site that is responsible for these deposits?
So each of the sites, thank you. Each of the sites have a financial secretary that is responsible for making sure, along with the site administrator, to ensure that these deposits are done within 24 hours. So those are documented on the corrective action forms, and I believe the accounts receivable clerk does notify them in an email, and I believe she also CCs Mr. Carlson in those emails as well, along with the site principals when we have those particular requests for corrective action to happen.
Okay. Thank you.
Any questions?
Any additional questions? I think they should have more designated people.
Well, I think we need to make allowance for Newcomb and Mass City. That I think it needs to be a minimum. Like if they if the deposit is less than $100, say, or $50, are they gonna drive clear up here because there's no place to deposit on that?
Yeah, true.
So if somebody turns in $25 or $10, you're gonna make them drive all the way up here for that. I think there needs to be some kind of,
Minimum. Do we have that, Mr.
I
Yazzie?
don't think so at the current time, the present time.
I don't believe we have one. That's one thing that I was looking at preparing and creating and requesting for is when we spoke with the auditors, I asked them questions relating to what can we do to help those school sites, and one of the recommendations was to go ahead and let the board know, if it has to be an action item on the board agenda to submit in writing to the Department of Education to request for what was just discussed by the board members. So
Additional time, right? Additional.
correct, and we can go ahead and work with the in our office to create that document and requests, and then have the board, if they choose to elect on approving that request, so we could send it in writing to the Department of Education School Budget Bureau.
I would also recommend having a backup person. It seems like an awful lot to have everything on the administrator and the financial secretary, because sometimes those individuals take leave. So I would recommend having, having an additional person to be able to help with that too. Superintendent. That would be my recommendation. Two others, so that at least if the identified individuals are on leave or have emergencies or have other duties that are pressing, that there would be somebody or a couple of people to step in those times. So that would be I would like to see that. But thank you, Mr. Yazzie. I have no additional questions.
Okay. Ms. George, do you have a question for Mr. Yazzie on this particular?
Yes. If we don't fulfill the deposit within 24 hours, don't we get penalized for that through the auditor or the state? And the second question is if we're going to have additional people to be backups, I think that the it's not a stipend, but I know that the financial secretaries, they get paid for their mileage for going to make the deposit and going to get the mail and stuff. But if we're going to have backup, I think that the individual who takes that deposit to the bank should be given that mileage as well too. Thank you.
I would think that whoever does it would be, and aren't there two people going to make the deposit?
I don't know. Is that what happens, Mr. Yazzie? Two people do the deposit, or are they two people putting the funds and ensuring that their numbers are correct into the deposit bag, and then one person taking it in? What is the process?
Vice President Haskey, I believe at each of the sites, there's the financial secretary is the designated person to do the bank deposits, unless the administrator at the site designates another, delegates it out to someone else. The two people, there's at least two people that have to count the deposits to reconcile to ensure that the funds are matching what the reports say.
Okay.
And I believe the principals do have the authority, in the sense that each of the sites to assist with assigning an alternate to with the to help the financial secretaries with the with making sure the deposits are done when they're on leave.
Anything else?
No.
I guess we're done with the deposits, Mr. Yazzie. You can go ahead with item H.
Thank you, Board President, members of the board, Superintendent Carlson. Just one moment.
Get a Woody's whistle. I'm gonna do the same.
My apologies. I'm just getting over an illness.
Yep, no apologies necessary.
So we have moving on to the next item on agenda. I have purchase orders exceeding 60,000. We have here in this particular part of the report 9 purchase orders exceeding over 60,000. We have one for cooperative educational services for in high school tables and excuse me. High school tables, trash receptacles, benches, and grills. I believe this is a purchase that's continuation of work that was done last year for approximately $66,876.73. And then the next thing we're looking at is a purchase order from CDW government. Like it's for electronic equipment. 530 items, $252,052.10. We have a another purchase order for cooperative educational services. This is also a project to replace trashes and receptacles over at the Shiprock High School. Next purchase order, cooperative educational services for subscription for Schoology services and license for that over at Career Prep High School.
Question.
When?
Well, how long is the license good for, the subscription and license? What is the duration? And I don't see the cost. Where is the cost associated with that subscription and the license?
So this one is for so is Miss Huffman on online? I believe she was I'm looking at her. I look at this purchase order. Looks like it was requested by the C&I department. I would ask the request to see if I can get her assistance.
I believe she is actually at the music program for Mesa Elementary right now. She might be able to join in a little while.
Oh, Mr. Venturina, Mr. Carlson has his hand raised.
There you go, Mr. Venturina. Thank you.
Good evening, Board Vice President Husky, Board President Superintendent Carlson. That particular item about the Schoology and Unified Insights, these are our school products. Schoology is a learning management that we had looked at several months ago in relation to providing it to basically for our high school and potentially middle school. So it's a learning management tool. And at the same time, the Unified Classroom or Unified Insight is a dashboard that we can also utilize for the schools. So this is our first year. It has all the implementation kind of like cost. It's a 1-year subscription, but right after this year we will have, I think, if as far as I remember, the cost will be reduced to, I think it's about 25,000 to 30,000 in an annual subscription. But we have around 106,000 because of all the integration and implementation year for these two platforms.
So how many licenses? You said how many did you say the licenses?
So it will be for the entire school district. For all our students will be able to use, and our schools will be able to use the platform. It's a 1-year subscription, and it will be renewed yearly based on what the needs of our school district.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Venturina.
So is that 106? That's the cost, or is that those 1, 2, 3, 4? No, three items because they're all under number 4.
It looks like
so
it was 3.
it's 106
for all those 3.
$106,916.66
Yes.
for all those 3: the licensure, the training, the professional service and setup, and then minus 25 or 30,000 next year.
I believe so. Did you hear that, Mr. Venturina?
Yes, Ms. Husky. Those are all the 3 because of the first. This will be our first year implementing it. So the 106 covers the professional service and setup. What are the other 2? The training services and the licenses.
Okay. Well, please let us know how it works.
Yes, and if you're familiar with Canvas, Schoology is kind of like the Canvas for our student information system, which is PowerSchool. They are all products of PowerSchool.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question, Mr. Yadi. You made a statement, and I've heard something about it, but don't understand it. You talked about eye visions. Could you explain that a little bit to me? Because I've heard some confusion in the district about how it's working, or so. Can you enlighten me?
Board President Wells, iVisions is the financial management system that the district uses to keep track of all the data, the accounting data, as well as the human resources data associated with. So this purchase orders report that we are presenting and the documents that are following it are all part of the financial management system. So all of this is keyed and inputted into that database, and it houses the purchase orders, the requisition requests, all the employee information, as well as all the other reports that we'll be presenting tonight are all compiling from that particular financial management system.
We've been under this particular system for how long?
Board President Wells, I believe we've been, to my understanding, the district has been using this financial management system. I may stand corrected since 2000. Let's see, was it 13? I believe.
Wow. I'm wondering why we haven't much confusion about it.
2013.
Okay.
That's in here. I don't see it in iVisions.
Okay.
so we-
Go ahead with your presentation.
So item number 5 is the West Music Corporation. That is a purchase order from the, I believe this is a purchase for music equipment for the schools throughout the district, replacing trumpets and flutes, baritones, clarinets, saxophones, etc., totaling $73,432.35.
What happens to the instruments that are being replaced?
So I would have to get some clarification on what the school sites are doing for those particular instruments.
Or what, are they being refurbished or
Yeah.
sold or
Yeah.
what?
You would think. Can we get
Yes.
clarification on that? That would be good to know.
Okay.
In some cases, they're probably no longer usable. I think a fair amount, because kids have been using those, I believe, for quite a while. If they're usable, I don't know if they want to sell them, they want to use them.
What's quite a while? 5 years, 2 years?
I think it's more than that. I think it's more like a dozen. I think they've had them for a while. That's not something that's replaced, you know.
Cause
I
I've
know-
had
I
my
know.
clarinet for like 35, 40
There you go.
years.
It maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
When I
you
say
use it every day though.
I don't use it every day, but
Yeah,
we don't, the maintenance on them. I'm just
you
curious.
replace the pads on a flute or
Mhm.
something like that.
Yeah.
You know, it plays just as well.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder.
So that would be
We could
good
look into
to,
that.
yeah, we
Good
could
question.
good to know.
Okay, go ahead. You got, let's see how they.
Thank you, Board President. And then there's purchases for more Apple computers. Totaling, we're purchasing 128 units. This includes the actual computers, Apple computers, as well as the licenses and subscriptions to each of the units, totaling $143,362. I believe we have the CDW government. We are purchasing 831 Chromebooks, totaling $250,363.68. District's fire alarm annual inspections, $74,503.38. And then I believe the last one on there is the San Juan County. SRR services for the Kirtland High School and Kirtland Middle School, $73,142.35.
Oh, security. That's for how many security guards or for security?
Which we,
The last one, number 9, San Juan County. It says Kirtland Central High School, Kirtland Middle School MOU for SRO services. Is that just for one?
it's for the school resource officer.
So they go back and forth between the high school and the middle
does.
school?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, he goes out to all the schools in Kirtland.
And how many
Mhm.
hours? How many hours does he spend
He the full time.
full time? We employ him full time.
I don't
40
think-
hours?
I think we pay San Juan County for him. I don't know exactly how. Mr. Yazzie, how does that work for the SRO? Or the Kirtland SRO, do you know?
Mr. Carlson, I would believe that we would have to defer to Mr. Devin Verhills or either David Grego on the question, but if I may stand corrected again, if I remember correctly, this might be for actual services that are provided by the San Juan County Department to work in collaboration with the school resource officers that the district have on staff. And I may be in. Oh, Miss Thompson will probably be better able to answer that question. She has her hand up.
Ms. Thompson, you got your hand up. Ms. Thompson? Hello, Ms. Thompson. You're gonna raise your hand.
And she's gone.
Oh, she did.
She left.
She left.
I will try to get,
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
we can get clarification if you could. That would be great. Doesn't have to be answered right now because she just fell off. I know how it is with Zoom.
yes, over here. Great.
Go ahead, Mr. Yazzie.
Look for that purchase order too. It's the last one. Let's see.
Thank you, President Wells, members of the board, Superintendent Carlson. So we're moving on to the activities and distribution listing. 6-page report for purchases from the activities account totaling for last month.
Just look at it.
No,
$21,144.12.
I'll go through it right now real quickly.
We have the
It's only 6 pages.
the operational disbursement listing for the month of November. There's a 190-page report. Disbursements totaling $3,661,457.37.
Do you have any questions?
Okay, so the next one we have is the outstanding check listing for the activities account, totaling $21,144.12.
Read outstanding checklist.
The outstanding checklist for our operational account, totaling $3,740,955.46. For our expenditures in our general funds for the month of November, for funds 11,000 to 23,000, we had expenditures going out of 4,110. I'm sorry, my apologies. $4,110,449.73. Expenditures for grants for funds 24,000 to 29,000. Last month totaling $2,092,883.10. For expenditures, For capital outlay and debt services for last month, totaling $6,913,936.96.
Right. So we could just remove people's privacy and stuff.
Should he just,
I mean, I guess the same complaints.
Revenues coming in for capital from the capital outlay and debt service accounts. Last month we received $20,669.06. And then we have revenues coming in from our grant account for the month of November, totaling $5,176,814.11. And revenues coming in from grant funds, 24,000 to fund 29,000. We have $157,825.91 coming in. So we have the invoice journal and detail report listing all the accounts and purchases to vendors for last month, totaling $3,661,457.37. And also last month for purchases out of the Johnson O'Malley funds, totaling $94,674.68. We have the budget journal entries report, 29 pages of all our journal entries, totaling and balancing at $15,999,060. Any questions? Thank you, Board President, members of the board, Superintendent Carlson. I guess moving on to the next item, agenda. Budget adjustment and journal. We have here a budget adjustment request. It's a transfer bar for our operational funds. The transfer here is to cover salaries. I'm sorry, my apologies. Is to move funds to cover contract services for projects that the district has have for the operational and maintenance department. The next bar is a maintenance bar. It's for our preschool fund 24109. It is to make budget alignments for from July 1st to November 17, 2022 for function 2700. We have another maintenance bar also for the preschool fund. This is for budget alignments for function 1000 to align our budget within that particular function. And we have another budget adjustment request. It's a transfer bar. It is to move funds within the Carissa funds to continue to fund the drinking fountains that is project that is happening over at TBA. We have a transfer bar for Fund 24330 ARP ESSER 3 funds. It is transfer funds so that the district can outsource to, so the district can have funds for the IEP writers. This is a maintenance bar. It is being used to allocate Dream Dene funds associated with this particular grant.
Question, in regards to that, is that one grant or is that all the grants, like the grants that they've applied for? Is it just for 1 month, or what is the quarter?
Vice President Haskell, members of the board, Superintendent Carlson. For this one here, it's Dream Dene was given $139,777 for the year. So this is their part of the ESSER 3 grant. So we have an initial budget request. It's for this 2022-2023. It's a special education grant from IDEA. It's ARP Funds 24346 for $322,889. Requesting budget authority.
Is that for the year? Oh, may I ask a question?
You may.
Is that for the year, Mr. Girazi, or is that just for how long? What's the question for that?
Vice President Haskell, yes, is correct. This is for this this fiscal school year 22-23.
Thank you.
The next bar is also the request initial budget for Fund 24349. It is also an IDEA ARP for the preschool and special education. We were awarded $26,358 for this. Again, this is for the 2022-2023 school year. We have an increase bar for the Johnson O'Malley Fund 25131, $222,981. It's an increase from our contract, and so we received an extension until December 1st, I believe, to spend the funds. We also have an increase bar for the Johnson O'Malley 2. It's a budget increase due to student increase enrollment. Our student enrollment count for this for FY school year 2022 for $56,687. And then we have another bar to set up for initial budget for a community schools implementation grant. It was a grant allocation given to Dream Dene Charter School for $150,000. any questions relating to the budget adjustments?
Ms. George, you have any questions for Mr. Yazdi for the budget adjustment?
No, I have no questions. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Board President, members of the board, Superintendent Carlson.
Thank you, Mr. Yazdi. Budget adjustment was the last.
Included all that stuff. So we go to possible action.
Possible action item number 4A, request for approval of gift donation for Save the Children. I will entertain a motion to approve the gift donation for Save the Children.
I will make the motion to approve of the gift donation for Save the Children.
Ms. George, you want to second that?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the gift donation for Save the Children. Ms. Askey?
Yes.
Ms. George?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Items for December 2022 regular school board meeting.
I sent some emails.
You stand for that.
I sent an email what I would like on the board meeting. So yeah, the long one. So I prefer that to be added, but it's a long-winded one.
It is, I read it.
So,
Talk to me, Sharon, about it.
yeah.
That way we can get it.
Yeah. So
That way things aren't-
yeah, but I guess,
And when you give, you have to
what?
be careful too. of the individual.
right. Yeah. So
just
that's
general.
why I guess the way it's going to be worded to be added to the agenda has to be refined. So I'm not going to say anything about it just yet, but I just want to be technically correct when it's added to the agenda item.
Okay, so we will
Um,
add that to the
Okay.
agenda item.
And then also, the second item is, I would like to know about how, our seniors, are they on track? And are they on track to graduate? And what are we doing in the meantime if they are not? What kind of interventions are we continuing, since now we're finishing up the first semester of the school year? And then what is the plan to be proactive for the next semester to make sure that our students are going to graduate on time?
Okay. We can probably do it, except for I know one of the principals is on leave.
Okay.
And I think the schools will have a little bit different take
Okay.
on what they're doing. I'm wondering if we could wait till January to do that. Or you
Can we just get progress and then?
like from counselors?
I would like to know, because I like to know if there's going to be plans. I'm sure that there's plans already in place. I would like to know what those plans are that are in place, and do we have, if there aren't any plans, I would like to know that too. Are there going to be plans that are going to be made in January?
Okay.
So
We can
I
do
just want to know about the students and how they're doing and what the plans are for them. And that's all I can think of right now.
Okay. Anything, Ms. George, that you want to?
Yes, I'd like to put on the next agenda that Mr. Carlson, if that, I had already talked to you in the email as well, but for the Navajo Nation mask mandate, that we enforce that, especially at our athletic events on Navajo Nation and, our big crowds that, like at the performing arts, we need to make signs that say that the Navajo Nation has a mask mandate and also announcements at the athletic events reoccurring during the night of the event. If it's a basketball game, several times just reminding all visitors that Navajo Nation has the mask mandate and it's, you're required to wear your mask on Navajo Nation. And also, did we do away with the screening for COVID at the district?
So that's a loaded question. And what I'd like to do is there's some updates on that having to do with temperatures and the app and the types of screening that we're doing. We can definitely have that addressed probably by either Mr. Verhulst or maybe with Christy Brown, and they can do that work. Kind of give you all the latest COVID updates, district COVID updates.
Okay. That's it.
I have nothing further. Item 6.
It's not even 9 or 10.
And we didn't even start on time. Take away 20 minutes there.
I just feel like
there should be more.
Yeah, there should be more.
No, there should.
We have.
Okay, I motion to. I motion to adjourn. Board President.
Cheryl? Will you second that motion?
Hold on. I'm trying to. I have another question, but I'm trying to figure it out. Hold on.
Yeah, say goodbye.
Cheryl, I motion to adjourn.
Get away for another question.
Okay, can I ask one question first to be put on the next agenda?
Go ahead.
The critical mentorship, teacher mentorship. Can we have a report on that, please?
Yes, teacher mentorship.
Anything else? Are you going to second the motion to adjourn then?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn this meeting. Ms. Askey?
Yes.
Ms. George?
Yes.
Myself, yes. The meeting is adjourned.
Yay. It's a record.
Oh my goodness.